Hey guys, so today we're gonna talk about being fired. So let's get into it. I thought such a gloomy topic would be a good fit for this very rainy and gray day. Anywho, so you've been working, and for some reason your services are no longer required by your current employer. Now, you may not think so, but I actually know two things about being fired or being sacked or losing my job. Luckily enough, it's only once that I've been fired for gross incompetence. Don't worry, I wasn't a programmer at the time, just saying if you were worried. And for the most part, there have been situations where the company is dismantling or they're moving their offices or stuff of that nature. And so you have a choice. Either you move somewhere for the company if you really enjoy it, or you find yourself another job. Anywho, the end result is the same. You just got fired, my friend. So what do you do? Well, this is of course very individual. This is something that every single person handles in their own way. I like to feel really sorry for myself, sit down on my couch at home, stare out into nothingness very quietly for a few hours and think about nothing and just kind of let things sink in. And after a while, I start being able to move my limbs again. I start being able to actually act on the fact that, hey, I now need to find myself another job. And the first thing I do is that I go to my LinkedIn account, and then I put out a little post saying that, hey, I'm looking for a job. And then I remember something, or rather I get to experience something that only somebody who has made sure that they have a fairly good market value and that they have a fairly good professional network can experience as a programmer. And that is that there is an enormous amount of people who wants to talk to you. Yes, my friend, even though you got fired, even though you feel like shit, because you're gonna feel like shit, I'm sorry, but you will most likely do so, unless you're a sociopath. Maybe then it might just be Friday, who knows. Anywho, as a programmer, you have one big benefit, and that is that right now, the demand for skilled programmers, remember, skilled programmers, professional level programmers, not just hobby level programmers or people who know some small amount of code, like the demand is massive. It is enormous. I can tell you that when my office was like decommissioned, or like when they were moving everything, I sent out I just went out into my network and had a look. Within 24 hours, I had over 250 direct messages for like interviews and meeting with recruiters or companies and stuff of that nature. In fact, I was booked so solid for personal interviews, for at one point so solid that I didn't pay for my own lunch for 2 weeks. So if you're in that situation, guys, if you don't let it get to you, don't let it crush you. Feel sorry for yourself, feel bad about it, but remember, this is a seller's market right now. It is. There is an enormous amount of opportunities if you know how to write software. And especially if you, as I've said in previous videos, if you've had just a little bit of a thing, you don't have to live your life so that everything you do is in favor of trying to impress some manager in somewhere. You don't have to do that. But just having a small think about maybe knowing roughly what the IT community, or like the market, the different industries who hire programmers, like what type of skills they're interested in. And if you have them, you don't even have to be a super senior master in everything. You just have to know it well enough to do the job. Then you have a lot of job security. You do. And it's something that's kind of nice actually, because if you have experience working in different fields, if you're a little bit diverse, there's actually a lot of places you can work. You have a lot of options, a lot of opportunities, because programming in IT is so universal that almost, like, you know the saying, every company is an IT company. And that is true. It is absolutely true. If you really think about it, every single company has a need to certain degrees. I'm not talking about your little cafe necessarily, like they're not hiring programmers necessarily, but the companies who provide them with their services, the banks and all of these different larger corporations, they have a need for people like yourself. And what's beautiful when it comes to being a little bit of a universal programmer, this is also why I keep telling people that unless you're really passionate about one specific thing in programming, I mean, that's okay too. But if you diversify just a little bit, if you are a full stack developer, if you will, or maybe you do something a little bit different, mobile development and so forth, like your market value just skyrockets. Because the idea, and this is what I've been telling you, the idea that you have to be the best is only promoted by companies and other people because they want to have really skilled programmers. But the definition of what makes somebody the best, or like being a rock star programmer, is kind of loose. And honestly, in my experience, companies will hire you even if you're good enough. You don't have to have this weird idealistic mindset that, oh, if I'm not a master programmer in that thing, I shouldn't even apply for the job. It's more about, do you know how to write software well? If you do, most companies will actually consider you even if you're not an expert in just the exact thing that they are looking for. People hire people, and usually that's the way it goes. It's very rare that, at least in my experience, that you will shut somebody down because they're not an expert in the exact thing that you're looking for. If they are fairly good at what they do, if you are a good software developer, you will learn the practices and the tools that a specific company is using fairly quickly, and they know that. So, I mean, even though I do some mobile development in my spare time, I would have no problems whatsoever feeling comfortable applying for a mobile development job if I wanted to. I would not be their strongest programmer, but I know programming well enough to know that I can pick it up in a certain amount of time, in a fair amount of time, or a decent amount at least. So, to summarize, guys, if you ever get to that point where you lose your job in programming, feel bad about it, feel shitty, because it's gonna hurt, and do what you need to do. Eat ice cream, stare out into the nothingness, and reflect on the universe if you want to, and then go out and look for another job. And trust me, you will find another one. I swear to you that you will. It's a very good time to be a programmer. Have a great day.